Hey, this is Kyle Crawford from Strong Dads. Strong Dads podcast would love to thank the Crimers Beer House for coming alongside of us. The Crimers Beer House was started in 1982 by the Crimer family, and since that time, they have definitely become a Cincinnati favorite. So if you're looking for an incredible meal in an incredible setting, definitely go down to Route 128 and check out the Crimers Beer House. All right, hey guys, what is going on? It is a beautiful day out.
Look at you.
We're sitting inside. I'm sitting here with Merle. We should be outside, I think.
We should.
We should do a show outside.
You know, that's an idea.
That's a good
Let's
idea.
do that.
Let's do that. I like
we
it.
need to move out and do. We should do something like in your wood shop studio. We should do something out in the yard. We should do something maybe out by a lake somewhere.
I'm ready.
We need to move. The weather's starting to break.
That's right.
Let's get out of this
I
place.
think it's good. Anyways, you have a good Easter?
We did, man. We had a great Easter. We did get outside. We did a little fishing. We ate some good stuff. We mostly just sat outside. My dad was in a nursing home. We were able to go in, get him out, take him with us.
Awesome.
He had a good day. He was as ornery as ever, so that was fun. So I had to tell you off air what he was doing. That's another story. We love him for his orneriness. I don't know if it's going to do much to get him in heaven, but it makes us laugh. But that's
that's a whole nother show.
That's a whole other show. No, he's a good guy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, the kiddos, golly, my sister has 5 kids. Ooh. My brother's got 2 and 1 in the oven, and then I got the 2. So Easter was wild with the Easter egg hunts. My mom did a little scavenger hunt for all the kids that can actually read. So it was fun. It was a good time. So
that's good. It's good to get everybody together.
I know.
Right. Plus, with the weather in our area of the world was. You couldn't have it any better on an Easter.
That's right.
So it's fantastic.
Yeah, I hope you guys had a good Easter out there. The show we're recording on the back end of the Easter weekend.
Yes, yes. So what are we talking about?
Anyway?
Oh
yeah. Today we got to figure out something. We got to have a show.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, we should. Did you just get off work or what?
I did. I'm a little flustered right now.
You look beat down, man. Saving lives all night. It's exhausting.
24 hours of wild and exciting. So
there you go.
It was good though.
All right, drink that coffee. Keep it going.
Yes, but anyways, today, when we were discussing different topics and stuff, this idea came actually from my small group, and this question was posed, and I thought it was a really cool question that I think every man should ask themselves, and if put in certain situations, may get asked them. And the question is, are you running, to something, or are you running away from something? And I think the conversation today hopefully will put us in a good place to understand the benefits of maybe both situations, running away from something and running to something, and then maybe on the flip side of that, maybe the negatives of running away from certain things in our life that we maybe shouldn't be running away from. We talk all the time on this show about the comfort and finding happiness in those comfort, and sometimes it's good to be put outside of our comfort zone, especially as a man. We need to be challenged sometimes in that way. So hopefully that conversation kind of rolls into that. So
right, yeah, okay, this is going to be good. So we'll have a lot of different opportunities. So let me ask you then. So have you ever found yourself just wanting to run away from something?
Oh boy,
like a little scared chicken.
No, Merle.
No. You man.
I'm a man. I'm a man. I'm never running away from it. When this question was posed, I started thinking of different things that I've had in my life that I've been a part of, that I've done, that I wanted to get away from, that I needed to move past, that I needed to kind of get rid of that in my life. And the one thing that kind of stood out, and we did a whole show on this, was pornography. It was a huge struggle for me in my life for the longest time. And then moving into getting married, I realized the damage that does for Jenny and I. Yeah. And then taking a step further, then I start having kids, and I'm like, holy cow! Like, this is destruction. I mean, this will destroy my marriage and my family if I don't get my act together. And it was a decision that I made. A very difficult decision to make, to be like, I'm done with this. This is I have to move past this. I can't be the man that I want to be, the dad that I want to be, if I have this junk in my life. So it was a decision I made. I had accountability. I had guys that, my small group guys that came alongside of me, and we tackled it together. And it's no longer, I'm not going to say it's not a struggle in the sense that, it's something that's always, I think every man has those thoughts. But it's a conscious decision. Every day I wake up, I'm not doing that. I'm not going back to that life. So that would be definitely something that I wanted to get rid of, that I couldn't stand in my life. I had to get rid of it. So that was that was for me.
So that was something you were running away from, and so I guess we're going to have this discussion. But so running away from, what did you run to? You know what I mean? Like if I'm going to run away, I need to arrive somewhere. So where did you? What gave you the goal to run to?
Well, I knew I had to run to and pursue my wife in a different way, and that was something that I just saw the writing on the wall. I saw what my actions were doing and how they directly, affected my marriage and the way I viewed my wife, the way that I viewed my kids. It changed everything. It was a game changer for me, because now there's no additional distractions for me in that sense. Obviously there's distractions for everything, but that when I got rid of that in my life, I was able to truly hone in and focus on my wife and see her for who she really is. So.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right. So that's your example. So I know, just like always, what did you run away from, Merle? Well, as you said, I'm a man. I don't run away from nothing. I'll tell you what I remember. I've shared a little bit of this at different times on the show, but going into college, I went to college as that guy that did not really know why he was going to college. He just didn't. I didn't know what I was going to, but I didn't. I wanted to stay away from what I had, and that was basically, I was working in my dad's shop and stuff like that, or I was working at a grocery store. Those were the things, and I was like, well, I don't want to do these things for a living.
Sure. Just
because it wasn't my wiring. And so I went to college, and for 2 years, I was miserable.
Really?
I was miserable because I had no clue why I was there. And so, and I had to commute 2 hours a day, 1 hour there and 1 hour back. So I lived out in a rural area, and I would hop in the car at 6:30 in the morning or whatever and drive for an hour for my 8 o'clock classes, 5 days a week. And I can't tell you how many times I had conversations with, I would quit this right now.
There's a conversation you're having with yourself?
With myself.
Yeah.
Like, what would it take for me to just quit right now? Just quit school. I hate this drive. I don't even know why I'm going to this place. And I remember thinking, man, if somebody offered me a job, like just paid whatever, I'd be like, oh, I'm gone,
Yeah.
Because I hated it. And it was just, I wanted to run away from it. And it just... it drugged me down. It just kind of beat on me. I think the one thing I did really well during those 2 years was I didn't have a lot of free time because I worked 25 to 30 hours a week. But any time that I had a weekend night or whatever, I was out partying pretty hard. Yeah. It was like, well, at least I'm good at this. Let's go have some fun.
Now was the college thing, was that something that you kind of put on yourself, or was that something that your parents kind of?
That was 100% me. My parents even questioned, why are you doing it? But I didn't know what else to do. Like, I didn't have any other direction. Okay. And I was that guy I was good at a lot of things, but not great at anything kind of thing, And I was like, well, I don't know what direction to go. And so kind of my philosophy was, well, at least I need to start in college. At least I can get the basics going. At least I won't lose ground when I finally do discover. And if college is part of what I need, at least I won't be behind. And I think in hindsight, that actually worked for me.
Okay.
Because I did finally discover.
Sure.
And get where I needed to go. But man, for 2 years, I was so ready to quit. I was done with it. So, and I'll tell you that comes out of grind, right? You're just how much longer. So anyway, that's kind of my deal. But we're going to get into a little bit more. Let's thank a few sponsors first, and then we'll get into that.
Definitely our. I gotta stop saying definitely.
Definitely. Did you go back since I pointed that out?
Now I'm like, it's like when someone's like, oh, watch that teacher. He says definitely a lot, and then all of a sudden that's all you notice. Yeah. Anyways, Strong Dads, we would love to thank Crimer's Beer House.
Oh, definitely, we want to thank Crimer's
Beer House for coming alongside of us. They are located down on Route 128 in Cleves, Ohio.
Yes.
For sure, you should go down there and check them out. They have an incredible meal, the incredible menu there. Now you got me a little flustered here. I'm really consciously not trying to say definitely. They have a great menu and an incredible setting. So definitely go down on Route 128 and check them out.
Well, I'll say you should definitely check out Casey's Outdoor Solutions. We want to thank Casey's for coming alongside of us, for all the fantastic work that they do for our community, but also coming alongside what we do here at Strong Dads. I almost said rock solid.
Yeah, you've done that a couple times.
I know. But we want to thank those guys. So, again, we also want to thank all you guys out there listening as our show continues to grow. And you guys spread that word. Please share these shows. Give us a 5-star rating. Subscribe to the channels. This is part of the message that we hope has a benefit. And I have guys that come in all the time say, well, somebody said you should listen to this show that Hutch and Kyle did. And it was there to help them for some reason. They were stuck in something, whatever the topic was. So anyway, help a brother out, help a brother out.
Help a brother out. I like that.
All right. All right. So let's get into this a little bit. As you said at the start, like every man's going to face an opportunity or the distress of, do I need to make a decision here? Yeah. Do I need to run in some direction? And so part of, I think, what you posed there at the beginning, am I going to run to something or am I going to run from something? And I think part of, when I hear the idea of you running from something, at least my brain first goes to, well, you're just trying to escape. You're just trying to get away from something. You don't want to own the work, or you don't want to you're just running away. You're running away from your problems. So what is your thought with that? Is that where the conversation started from with you guys in your small group?
That's I don't know. And I don't know the full backstory of everything that's kind of transpired that brought up that conversation. But when you do pose a question like, are you running from something? And I think naturally, for me at least, and prior to the show we talked a little bit about it, I think it is so true. We jumped to the conclusion that, quit being a sissy, dude. Like you don't run from something. Maybe fix what you got going on here. But sometimes there are situations where it's good to be running. Like you had talked about that. It's good to run from something. Especially in my world, I see addiction. I see a lot of addiction, and whether it be drugs, alcohol, whatever. Those are the situations. Yeah, get the heck out of there. Like we have to move past that. Run to something as well, but you have to run away from that for sure. So I think the question, am I running from this, isn't always necessarily brought in a good light. I think it sometimes can have that negative, like I'm just running away from something to get away. But I also think that there's positives to that. You're running away from something. You're moving past a stage in your life, a challenge in your life. So I definitely don't always want to, as this conversation, as we talk about this conversation, I don't want it to always be seen as a negative light, to be running away from something. Yeah.
So part of what I see with that too is, I can get in trouble if I'm running from something, but I don't know what I'm running to.
Yeah.
Okay. And so there is probably a real purpose here in you taking the time to understand, okay, if I'm going to run away, what am I going to run to? Like you said perfectly before, like the pornography. And I said, well, what were you running? What was attractive that you needed to run to? And that was, well, I had needed to pursue my wife, So if we just run from something with no direction, chances are we're going to continue to be lost.
Yeah. Well, I think that is the idea, the direction. You had talked about that with college. Like you just didn't really have a direction. Yeah. And I think the direction is so important when we get into this conversation, because if you're just running to be running, like that's not going to be a good place. You're not going to enjoy running at all. Like, when you run, there should be purpose behind why you're running. I'm running in a certain direction. I need to get where I'm going. I'm going starting at point A and I'm going to point B. Even if that point A is a negative thing and I want to get away from it, you can't just run away from it just to flee it. Like, you need to have a direction. I can't just willy-nilly get up one day and quit everything I'm doing because I think it's a good idea, but have nowhere to go to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I also think there's some emphasis here that we need to put on the word running.
Yeah.
Because when I think of running, it takes energy, and it's fast and it's explosive, and usually there's emotion involved. So when you say I'm running to or running from, you're not strolling. You're not on a casual walk. Like, you're putting it down. You're making a decision, and you're going. Okay, so there's intention. When I'm putting my running shoes on, It's with purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. So
do you still run? You still get out there?
Man, you're killing me. You know what? I actually, I'm trying.
You're going to start tomorrow though, right?
No. I've been playing with it, but these knees, I'm embarrassing is what I am when it comes to running. But there's something in me that does not let it die. But anyway, why do you get me off task like this?
I'm sorry.
Get back to running.
It made me think of it because I remember when I ran cross country, people were like, why do you even run? The only reason I run is because someone's either chasing me.
That's right.
Or I want to get somewhere really fast. And it just made me think of that. So I had to ask you, are you still running?
Well, like right now, you know what they say? Like if you're being chased by a bear, you don't have to be faster than the bear. You just have to be faster than the guy that you're running
Which I'm
with.
confident based off of your.
And I know, like right now, I would really be screwed. I would be dinner. Oh, gotta love getting older, man. You gotta love it. Okay, let's get back to the topic because you're really blowing this. Yeah. Okay, so the whole idea of running and to and from, and so I think we want to have some conversation because as we go out and we look at the challenges that are in our life, whether they're in our marriage, whether they're at our workplace, whether they're in our finances, you are going to find quick fixes everywhere. Okay. Whether it is, if I just quit this job, I'll jump over here and I'll do this. And it looks all rosy when you first get the idea in your head. And the next thing you know, you're in a deeper hole than when you were in the original hole. Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's your wife. You're like, oh, we fight or we bicker. There's nagging going on all the time, and so, Linda and I talk about this all the time when we're working with couples that are going on a remarry. So they've been married, divorced, and now they're remarrying. And, the percentages of divorce rate are even higher on the second marriage. So
really? I did not know that.
First marriage is, the 50% is kind of the standard. Second marriage is in the 70% divorce rate. And it's because, now I'm bringing in all this other garbage that I maybe didn't deal with right the first time. And the garbage can be... not to call our kids garbage, but now they are baggage from the first one. Sure. And how I treated my wife the first time and how I went about solving problems the first time. If I didn't communicate well with my wife the first time and now I have a second one and I'm the one with a communication problem, I'm going to bring that same garbage into this. And so it just compounds itself, and she brings the same compounding problem. And so now the idea that the two of them get through this, the chances are stacked against them. Doesn't mean it can't work, because we do see it work. That's part of what Lynn and I's job is. When a couple comes in, we kind of want to dust all this off and say, okay, wait, we need to clean up the past mess to make sure that moving forward is going to be solid.
Man, I think that is, we didn't even really talk about this prior to the show, but I think that brings up a great point that if you're running away from something and you're moving in a different direction and you get to where you think you want to go, man, you can't have the same attitude. You can't have the same baggage that you're running away from something. Yeah. We see it all the time with guys at work that want to leave a certain department to go to a new department because they think it's going to be better. The grass is going to be greener over there. And then they get there and they still have that same mentality and that same mindset that they had in their previous department. And then they're like, why is this department not good anymore?
Right.
What is going on in this one that I thought I was getting to something new and better, but I'm still doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. And it's like, no, that's insanity, bro.
Yeah.
Like you need to adjust yourself, fix why did you leave the first place? You have to have reasons why you're leaving. So you left a certain point, a certain thing in your life to go to something new, but you still kept the same mentality. Like you have to change that mentality. If you're trying to move towards something in a different direction, when you talk about, going back to that remarriage, like if you go back to that remarriage and you still have that same mindset that you had in the first marriage that failed, it failed for a reason. Yeah. Probably selfishness played a part in that. And if you go back to that marriage again, back to your first partner, like if you still have that same mentality, that same selfish mentality, it's going to fail again.
It's going to definitely add to the problems, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, we're going to go through. We want to help you guys out there listening. If you're kind of feeling you're in a spot of discomfort or you don't like where you're at, we want to help actually identify, take a little time to actually slow your brain down and think about where you are, what you're going through, and maybe some better steps to get through so that you can make the better decision do I need to run from? Do I need to run to? What am I running from? What am I going to run to? Okay, so bear with us here. We're going to walk through this. I think there's some things that we need to consider. You need to really consider what your level of discomfort or pain is. There are some times when you got this gnawing toothache. That's kind of how I would describe my 2 years of commuting back and forth to college. It wasn't like, I'm dying, I can't do another minute. But in my mind, sometimes I'd make it out that way, like because I had all that time to think about how miserable I was. And so I became hyper-focused on my discomfort when in reality, I was strong, I was healthy, I had a good family, I had all these other good things going for me. I had the ability to go to college, okay? Sure. So there were so many good things, but I became so hyper-focused on the small discomfort that it got big in my brain. And that's something, we need to get a perspective grip on. Yeah. So how legit and true is the pain or discomfort? All right. And so I need to put it in its perspective. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. And again, maybe it is. Maybe it's like, hey, this is terrible. It's destroying me and the people around me. I can't do it another day. All right, good. Make the assessment.
Sure. Which brings to the next point of when you're making these decisions. If you're a single guy and you don't have a wife and you don't have kids, that's one thing. But if you are a man that has a wife, you have kids, one or the other, man, you have to realize that your decisions do affect them as well.
Yes.
So in your discomfort, in you're not pleased with where you're at, and you're trying to move to something or move away from something, man, your kids are going to be a part of it. They're going to be there with you. Your wife is going to be there with you. So what type of destruction or what type of mess are you going to leave in your trail? Because they're going to be the ones that are going to be there, right there with you as you move and progress in your life. Like they're going to be there right there with you. And if where you're going, if you have no direction, if you have no vision to where you want to go, you're just going to be wayward, and your kids are going to be falling right in your footsteps.
Oh, yeah. Like I see that when, all of a sudden when I worked at the elementary school, and all of a sudden, dad was discontent in his job or whatever. And he's like, hey, I'm taking this job over in California, which, that could sound exciting and everything. But it was like, okay, no, wait, you're getting ready to move 3 kids. Mm-hmm. Moving kids is never easy into transitioning to school. So there's all these other factors that come into play. And again, it's not to say never do that. It's to say you, as a man, you need to own, okay, what am I holding up here? What's my responsibility? So another thing I think is important, so how long have I been going through this? So sometimes we lose time perspective because of the level of pain of something. And so sometimes we have to ask, okay, how long have I actually been going through this pain, this discomfort? And then asking the question, how long do I foresee it going on? Because a lot of times we're in discomfort and it's a season. It's like,
so true.
Well, this really stinks, but honestly, I know it's going to last for only 6 more months. Like my boys are in the military, and they all the time get placed in situations that they don't like. They're deployed, they're away from their family and kids, and that they work through the season. Like, okay, this is going to stink for the next 3 months. And so I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to drive through this, but I can see light. And so that's what we have to do. We have to understand the length. How long have I been going through this, and how long do I foresee it going? And if either one of those are things that you can't manage, then maybe that's the time that you go, okay, it's time to consider this. If I don't ever see this storm ending, okay, you maybe need to make a decision there.
And how important is that for our kids? Like if you don't have a time frame for that direction, that is just it's a blank check. It's open ended. Man, that's hard for your kids.
Yeah.
Like kids need structure. I think kids need structure, and I know it works really well for my kids. Like giving them structure. Hey, we're going this time, this and this and this. Man, when I went to medic school, it was hard on my family. It was really hard on Jenny. But again, we knew 9 months. 9 months from now, life will be different. Maybe not better. There's still gonna be new challenges that happen, but we had a time frame. I'm gonna put forth a crap ton of effort for these next 9 months. I'm gonna put forth that effort in studying, being away from you and the girls. But man, Jenny knew after those 9 months, things would go back to normal.
Right. that's the season.
Yep, absolutely.
How about I think this is a question that we need to get, guys. This is just a flat out, simple, basic question. Are you looking for an easy way out? Just plain and simple. Are you looking for an easy way out? If any guy out there says, "Oh no, that's not how I roll," you buy lottery tickets. Right? Yeah. I mean, you do. We all do these things like we just want to wouldn't it just be cool if my load was lightened? And so sometimes we just are motivated by the easy way out. I see this with my kids, my youngest. I mean, that boy will take the easy way out on homework every day around every corner. And he ends up having to do the homework 2 and 3 times over because he shortcuts it. But in the moment, the easy way seems the best way.
This is so true. I'm learning this right now with my woodworking. Golly, there's some really easy joineries I can do. I can just butt join them. I can put them up, and it'll probably be okay. Yeah. But come on, Kyle. If I just do it right the first time, I actually put forth the effort and do it the way it's intended and supposed to be done, it'll last so much longer. And I'm learning that so much now with the woodworker as my skills progress. I'm learning that so much, and it is so stinking true. So true.
Yeah, and I listen, I'm guilty, I'm very much guilty, man. If I can see, here's a shortcut, I'm all about it. And again, why? Because I want to get out of something. Yeah. And it's part of our wiring. It's the path of least resistance. Yes. And so that is kind of how we're all wired. Your body goes that way. Your body works what would be the easiest? What would take the least amount of energy? But it doesn't always mean it's the right way.
Sure.
So I want to go to this next part, and so these last couple things here, Strong Dads is faith-based, and we think that God needs to be part of all of our pictures, whether you like it or not. He is. Whether you believe in God or not, he's still there. He's the creator of all. And so I think a question that we need to think about when we're looking about running to or from, will this or how will this honor God? And when I say when we talk about honoring God, His purpose for me, He designed me, the gifts that I have, the talents, the things that He's blessed me with. Is it going to be just trashing those, or is it going to be using them and honoring those? And so, if all of a sudden I totally just scrap what I was doing because it was hard, but it was in my gifts. I was able to serve. I was doing whatever that I know I was designed to do. But now all of a sudden I'm just gonna go do something that's fun or different. Will that honor God? I'm not saying we shouldn't. I'm saying just you need to ask yourself the question: is this going to honor God, or is this going to be like spitting in God's face?
Yep, and I think that could be, if you're unsure of that, man, ask Him. Ask Him. He'll reveal Himself to you.
Yeah.
If you're like, God, I don't know what this is going to look like. I want this to be a part of honoring You and obeying what You want for my life. Show me. Man, He's going to show up. I truly believe in my heart of heart He will show up. Because it's so easy, which is our next point here. It is so easy to get caught up. We talked basically our whole last show. We talked a lot about this of doing earthly desires and fleshly desires and falling into those traps, because sometimes you can touch those now. They're here right now. I can touch those. Where sometimes it's hard because we can't see God's face. We can't touch His hand and say, "Lead me." I think when we get caught up in what the world says, sometimes that goes directly contradicts what God wants for us. Directly contradicts. If you're chasing after money, if what you're trying to run to is more money, man, that's not what God's calling us to. Could He be calling you to a position where you can make more money? Absolutely. But if your sole reason for moving to something is because of money, man, I don't think that's going to be following suit with what God wants for you in your life. And I could be wrong. I'm not God by any stretch. But, man, based off what I know of His Word, we should not be chasing after money. Our goals and our what we want and our achievements in our life should not be to seek money. Yeah. Or seek money first, I guess I should say.
Yeah, and we could all be blessed with a lot of money.
Absolutely.
But money is not the ticket that we're looking for.
Yeah.
So I want to move into this next section, and I think the more that I wrote about this and thought about this, I thought, man, this is really where the turmoil comes from. Is your discomfort, is it a fleshly discomfort, kind of like you were just saying, or is it a spiritual discomfort? Because if it's a fleshly discomfort, that just means maybe I don't like how this feels. I'm not making enough money. I don't like the nagging that I'm hearing. I'm not, it's my senses, and I don't like the position I'm in. A spiritual discomfort, when we talk about these kind of things, it's like, man, I just have some discontentment in my heart. Like, I don't feel like I'm where I'm supposed to be. These are different sort of assessments. They're not based off of the physical pain or pleasure senses that we have. There's something inside of us that's got an unrest to it. Like, I just don't feel like I'm in the right place. And that is, us believers believe that's the Holy Spirit working in us. That's the Holy Spirit tugging on us and pulling on us. When we talk about, like this intuition, this feeling of, I just felt like this wasn't the place for me, or I felt like I needed to move towards this. And sometimes there seems to be no good logical reason for it, like to the people on the outside. Why would you do that? You're going to take a cut and pay. Why would you do this? Why would you do that? But in your heart, you're like, but I don't know, man. Like, I feel like this is where I'm supposed to be. And so making a discernment between whether you are being spiritually moved or whether you are just being physically moved, because physical movement is not how we want to base our long-term progression in life.
Right. Which I want to be very clear, when it comes to spiritual, like, discomfort, like, God never promises us a life of pleasure all the time. Like, you're going to have discomfort. So if you're in a time and you're struggling, you're in a season where life is tough, that doesn't mean God has abandoned you. That just means he's putting you in a position that there's going to be growth on the other side. And if you get stuck in this thought process that everything with God is peaches and cream, man, like, God nowhere in Scripture tells us that that's going to be the case. So I think it's an important difference. We have to discern, is this that fleshly discomfort, or is this a godly discomfort? Because they do look drastically different. Because there's fleshly discomforts that we fall into. I think those are the times, yes, we should be running away from those.
Right.
We need to find ourselves running towards trying to get into that spiritual discomfort where God is challenging us. He's putting us in a position to make decisions. As men, we're called to make decisions, to be strong, to be leaders. Like, and if you're stuck in this rut of always being, just I'm okay with being comfortable, like, God's calling you for so much bigger, much bigger.
So in saying that, I'd say, have you even invited God into your problem?
Yeah.
Have you even brought God in? Are you even praying? Are you praying for God's will, not your will? Are you praying? Are you talking to God? Are you leaning into how the Spirit is actually tugging and pulling on you? Because if you're only listening to the counsel outside of you that is of the flesh, then you're going to get fleshly advice. But if you're leaning into God and you want to be receptive to that, He's going to speak to you. So invite God into your problem. He wants to be part of it.
For sure. And the last little thing you wrote down here, Merle, which I think is so true. I used to have one of these little bracelets. So what would Jesus do?
Yeah, what would Jesus do? I mean, that's pretty cliche.
It is.
But it's like I run that filter a lot in my head. Like, okay, right now, what would Jesus do? Here I am. I'm walking by the homeless man as I'm going down to the Reds game. I'm walking by right now. What would Jesus do?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
How convicted do you feel after that?
I know. But, but just think about that. You're in the workplace. What would Jesus do? Right here. Because that is the bar in terms of how we are to respond in these kind of situations. Obviously, when he took the cross, I can't think of a more physically discomfort, a pain, than what that whole process was.
Yeah.
But that's not what he was chasing. He was chasing his Father, and that's why he went through the physical discomfort to be in the spiritual comfort of his Father.
So good. We actually were just talking about this yesterday at work about trying to find like biblical examples for stuff in our life. When we talk about, running away from something, running towards something, man, Jonah, the belly of the whale.
Oh man,
the
that's
fish,
a great
I guess.
story.
It's a great story because, man, Jonah, he wanted to get away from the Ninevites. Like he was like, I don't.
He was
wanna...
supposed to go preach to them and stuff. And he was like, I don't want to be around these people.
And I heard a different insight one time about Jonah. That when it came to going to the Ninevites, he just did not want to go. Right, he wanted nothing to do with it. And then the storm came, and he's in the bottom of the boat, and he's sleeping, and they come down and wake him up. Like, what are you doing, bro? And like he's like, well, just throw me overboard. And the person that was talking had a cool insight that Jonah just did not want to go to the Ninevites. He's like, so just throw me over. I'll die instead of going there. And I never thought of it like that. Like I just thought like he had this purpose. He was like, oh yeah, I know God really wants this for me in my life. I think Jonah was just like, screw this. This is the easy way out. I'm jumping over.
I would rather die than go talk to the Ninevites.
And then God's sense of humor. I think he was like, ha, watch this, bro. And then he has a big fish come and eat him. And I think it's a great I think it's a great depiction of where we want to be in our life. Like you're going to be put in positions where you're uncomfortable. The fleshly discomfort is there, and man, God's like, hold on a second, bro, I got you. And then you get swallowed up by a whale, and then the irony of all of it, he spits you back out on land. You're like, oh, all right.
Well, make no question about it. God can put some physical discomfort in your life.
That is true. Yeah, like
he can use physical discomfort to get you to look at his spiritual comfort that he wants you to seek. So, yeah, that's a great story with Jonah. Definitely, that's a good read. I just got I read through that this week, and I was just like seeing myself like how much do I resist God's will, and even at the point of no. Like one of my jokes is we talk about where we want to retire at, and I'm always thinking about something warmer. And I said, the one thing I probably would fight God on is if he told me I had to do mission work in Alaska. I'd be like, no, I'm sorry. I'm not going there. I'm not going. It's too cold. But again, Lord, hear me. I don't want to do that, but
well, yeah, because your kids, your son's living in Hawaii. You were like,
I
mean, polar opposites there.
If he got stationed in Alaska, well, son, I'll see you in about 5 years. Whenever. All right, so we're going to wrap things up. It's really important that when you're going through difficult times and you don't know what direction to go, understand your emotions. Understand how you rationalize things, man. How you make excuses. Come on, you got to dig in deep there, because if you're going to be honest with yourself, you're going to see how you paint the picture that you want selfishly for yourself. So you got to understand your emotions. You got to understand how you rationalize things. We always talk about seeking good counsel. Man, the counsel you seek should not be the dude who speaks from the flesh. He needs to be the guy who's a little bit more well-rounded, the guy who's going to bring in God's word and say, hey, well, have you thought about this? And, he needs to be a guy of accountability. Telling you what you want to hear is not necessarily the right counsel. In fact, oftentimes it's the worst counsel. So when you seek counsel, tell me, or give them permission. Tell me what I don't want to hear. Go ahead. I need to hear your perspective. Tell me, challenge me, because I don't want to hear it, but I need to hear it. So go ahead and tell me. So you have to give people permission to speak into your life. If you're not willing to give them permission, they're going to offend you. All right? And that's because it's on you.
And with that counsel, with rationalizing things and using emotions, if your counsel is doing the same thing, if your counsel is emotionally based and irrational thought process, those are not people you want to seek counsel from. We need to seek counsel from people who are in a good state, who can look from the outside looking in, take emotions out of it, and say, no, this is where you're at. Just like you were saying, Merle, man, saying the things that hurt sometimes. Like, God, I didn't want to hear that, but I knew I needed to.
Yeah. All right, so good stuff. Trust your gut instincts. Your gut instinct, when your gut is pulling on you, that's the Spirit working. You're like, oh, I know what I should do, but I don't want to do. That instinctive pull is something you need to definitely take note of. So for your challenge this week, we all go in and out of these times. There's not a man out there that hasn't had a crossroads in his life, and that's what these kinds of things are. They're crossroads. Which way you're going to go? What's the fork in the road? What are you going to do? All right? And so if you are in this, please listen to the show. If you see somebody that's in this, share the show with them. Be that person that's willing to give the good counsel, because that's how you are the hands and feet of Christ. So our challenge is open your eyes, see where you see this situation, and see what you can do to lean into someone.
Absolutely. Again, we really appreciate you guys. Really appreciate you listening to us, sharing our show. 5-star rating, like you're saying at the beginning of the show. Thanks so much, Crimer's Beer House and Casey Outdoor Solutions, for coming alongside of us. We really do appreciate you. It makes things a lot easier for rock solid families and strong dads to do what we're doing. So really appreciate you guys. We good?
We're good, brother. We're good. Go help a brother out.
Go help a brother out and share this show. Go out there and be some strong dads.
You know, I got a new word for you instead of definitely. Absolutely.
Absolutely go out there and be some strong dads.
How about, or 100%? 100%.
100?
I hear a
Can I
lot of
say
guys
100?
say 100%. 100%.
I heard like fire. Like people are saying like fire now. Like, oh, that was real fire. I'm like, what is that?
We're done. We got to be done. I'd like to welcome Casey's Outdoor Solutions as a new sponsor to our podcast. Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.